Breaking news as we have severe weather tonight across the upper Midwest and also parts of the Carolinas and in northeastern Arkansas. And the Storm Prediction Center has now raised the risk Friday for moderate risk in parts of the lower Ohio and Tennessee valleys, as well as parts of the middle Mississippi Valley. And the Storm Prediction Center has now elevated the risks along the East Coast for Saturday. So we're going to do all of that. We're going to cover it all because we always do, Joe and I, on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which, if you would like to support us, uh, well, and as I said last night, even if you wouldn't like to support us, just do your Amazon shopping on our referral link, and you can find it pinned to the top of the chat board. I'm going to pin it right now. It's also on the descriptor to this podcast. Just search for whatever it is you're going to buy and buy it. And Amazon sent us a little bit of coin for sending you there, and I do mean a little bit. And it's
Yeah.
an easy way to support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast because if you do, then you don't have to worry about commercials during the live stream. So sorry about the late start tonight, folks. Just had a little bit of technical difficulty, but I resolved it, thankfully. Um, Busy, 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 Joe. Storm Prediction Center has been working overtime with what's going on tonight in the upper Midwest. Meanwhile, I was looking at the radars late this afternoon and this evening, and not nearly a shower, but just a couple of scattered showers here and there that were on the radar going into this evening. Not much, though, as far as tonight. But as I said, the Storm Prediction Center is nudging up the risk areas for, especially for Saturday.
Yes, and in fact, right now, across the northern plains and western Great Lakes, there's some very potent thunderstorm activity taking place. We'll take a look at that in just a very few moments, but there's a rather wide area of enhanced severe activity extending from a strip of eastern Minnesota through most of the state of Wisconsin, northeastern Illinois, northern sections of Indiana, northwestern sections of Ohio, and the lower half of the lower peninsula of Michigan. That whole area is enveloped in the probability or possibility for an enhanced risk of severe weather. And then there's an even larger area for slight risk, which covers much of the western lakes all the way down into parts of the Tennessee River Valley, and slight risk also for portions of Virginia and North Carolina. So it is a very active night out there, Joe, and we'll be seeing that in just a moment on the radar. We're going to be looking at some rather potent cells of precipitation, which may very well carry with them, if not tornadic activity, maybe some damaging winds.
Yeah, I actually have the wide radar view up there because you're going to do the local radars, but you can see the rotation around the storm system, the actual low center, which is probably somewhere in South Dakota, near the South Dakota North Dakota border, is pretty impressive. You got that. It's got a big arm that just is sweeping up from the southwest and pushing up to the northeast. A big arm of thunderstorms that are going on, and you can see there's a lot of those yellow and red boxes. So we have a slew of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. So if you want, you can take them up there on the local radars, Joe. And if there's any, uh, I'm going to check Tornado HQ to see what's happening as far as some of the tornado warnings that are up right now, just see if there's anything really super crazy. Let's see,
Oh,
Tornado
oh,
HQ and excuse me, on the live
okay.
updating page, just really quick. I just want to just run down here. So right now we have 21 severe thunderstorm warnings, 5 tornado warnings, 8 of them in Illinois, 1 in Minnesota, and then there's 2 in North Carolina, 2 in Virginia, Wisconsin, the big winner tonight, with 13. There's a tornado warning, by the way, and we're going to get to this too, in eastern North Carolina and Beaufort and Craven counties there. And the rest of it is all up in Wisconsin. I'm not seeing anything. The tornado warnings that are up are the ones that Doppler's picking up. I don't see any of them where they're saying a confirmed tornado has been reported. But there you go. Very impressive satellite loop with those lightning strikes.
Yes, indeed. Just mentioned a few moments ago how most of the state of Wisconsin is in the zone of enhanced activity. And it looks like right now, Joe, in the next hour or so, most of that enhanced activity is going to be out of Wisconsin. It's racing along from west to east, and you can see, especially moving, looks like toward Milwaukee and Green Bay, that this area. And look at all of this red. This is obviously a zone where heavy thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms, possible tornadic activity, damaging winds, large hail, all of this racing along to the east, and will eventually, in the next, I'd say half hour or so, move out over Lake Michigan. Chicago's down here. Looks like they're going to be just outside of this zone. However, there are shallows and heavy duty thunderstorms occurring over areas in north central Illinois, and that may very well have an influence on the Windy City within the next hour or two. So, this is a rather significant area that we're watching. Now, let me zoom in here for you, excuse me, and we'll take a look at some local radars. We'll start off with Milwaukee. We just mentioned Milwaukee a few moments ago. And here are some of those big thunderstorms. And again, getting ready, it looks like, to move out over Lake Michigan. And again, some of these are really potent boomers. They extend not only through Wisconsin, but also down into the northern section of Illinois. Here's Chicago, and you can see that for the moment, at least, Chicago's out of it, but they'll have to keep watch on this area, this zone here, rapidly racing in from north central sections of Illinois, and that may very well impact Chicago in the next hour or two. So let's go further to the north and west. Let's go up to, we'll go to Minneapolis. And you can see there's one broad zone of heavy duty shower and storm activity. That's the one that's moving up through Wisconsin. And here's a narrow, skinnier line that is occurring north of Minneapolis. Minneapolis itself looks like it's out of danger for the moment. Looks like the majority of the activity is occurring now well to their north and to their east. And you can see how the cells of precipitation, although the actual area is moving west to east, the individual cells look like they are moving on a southeast to northwest trajectory. And again, where you see the areas of deep red is where you're likely going to be seeing some very active thunderstorm activity. Let's look at Duluth. And here in Duluth, Minnesota, you can see how that activity moving across now northern sections of Wisconsin, edging now into the area of Michigan, and also here, also moving through a portion of Minnesota. Here's the so-called arrowhead of Minnesota, and it looks like this one area here of heavy-duty showers and storms will be moving almost on a south to north trajectory through the arrowhead, and just apparently passed through Duluth in the last half hour or hour, and will continue to move again northward, maybe on up toward International Falls during the next half hour or so. So all of this activity, as we note, is occurring over the northern plains and the western Great Lakes. And let me see if there's anywhere else that might be worthwhile. This is
Eastern North Carolina.
Oh, yes, of course. Nothing was going on in Gaylord anyway. Let's show you. This is Morehead City and Newport, North Carolina. And yeah, look at that activity that just is organizing and almost like clusters of cells organizing into a rather significant line of thunderstorm activity. And now it looks like that area is beginning to diminish some as it approaches the outer banks of North Carolina. But if you're in the vicinity of eastern North Carolina, you're probably seeing some significant thunderstorm activity, and that'll be worth monitoring over the next hour or so as well.
Okay, and I'll get the wider view just to give everybody a little bit of a little more perspective here, and you can see the on the west side of on the left all the severe thunderstorm warnings that are up, and there's a ton of them, as we said, and looks like some we got warnings up in Milwaukee. Looks like we there's severe thunderstorm warnings to the north of Chicago, new one, and there's some to the west, as you pointed out. They may be moving into Chicago, may perhaps in the next hour or so. Meanwhile, in the Northeast, you just got some scattered light downpours, maybe a rumble or two of thunder in parts of north central PA, and also scattered around through upstate New York and into Vermont and in northern Maine. There's the big storm system, as I said, in the Dakotas, and we've got rain that is now coming in to the Pacific Northwest. As we check out the um, watches and warnings that are up, on top of the tornado warning, the tornado watches, and they're in yellow in eastern Wisconsin down into Illinois and western Indiana. We still have severe thunderstorm watches in Virginia and North Carolina, but they'll probably expire before too long. And the areas in the Dakotas have high wind warnings, wind advisories there. Some wind advisories in southern Nevada, northwest Arizona, and in parts of southern California, well inland, along and west of the mountains there. Small area of heat advisories continuing in parts of South Texas. Otherwise, the rest of the country is in pretty good shape. And here's what the full U.S. satellite loop looks like. Broke out nicely into partly sunny skies across much of the east today. Had a beautiful day here in Georgia for a change, although I did have about a dozen raindrops around 6 o'clock, and that was it. But I got a lot of yard work done, which is even better. And there's the swirl. I mean, really well-defined rotation here on the satellite up in the Dakotas and that arm that is swinging eastward. Dry air coming in to the south of that, across Kansas into Iowa and Nebraska, northern Texas, northwest Texas, and of course all of the southwest and southern California, looking nice and clear, not a cloud in the sky, and in Florida and most of the southeast, other than the thunderstorms that were in eastern North Carolina, the weather today was pretty nice. Okay, Storm Prediction Center. Now, this is for tomorrow. Let me backtrack for tonight. All of what's happening right now is in a very large area of enhanced risk from Wisconsin to northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, and southeastern Michigan. And that line's going to hold together. It's not about daytime heating, it's about the low and a strong upper trough, a cutoff low in the Dakotas, and a strong short wave that's swinging up and around it. So even though they'll lose the daytime heating, there will be a lot of upper air support with this, and the slight risk that is in Virginia and into North Carolina. Now, the Storm Prediction Center updated this late this afternoon, adding a moderate risk tomorrow for southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and much of the western half of Kentucky. It is kind of touching the state line of Tennessee. The tornado probabilities are now, we have a hatched area of 10%, matched up with the moderate risk, which is 45% chance of a severe thunderstorm. That's pretty high. And the 10% risk is hatched, which means that we have a 10% or greater probability of EF2 to EF5 tornadoes within 25 miles of any point in that zone, and a pretty healthy looking area of 5% that pushes up into Ohio and West Virginia. The 2% narrows its way through Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and if you draw a diagonal in Pennsylvania, and then we've got the marginal risk. The slight risk reaches up into central New Jersey tomorrow, and the southern half of Pennsylvania. The northern half's in marginal risk. The northern half of New Jersey is in marginal risk, as is New York City and western Long Island, westernmost Connecticut and Massachusetts, and much of the Hudson Valley and southern New York. Now, for Saturday, we have the cold front's going to be swinging eastward, and now the Storm Prediction Center has added a slight risk of severe weather from eastern North Carolina all the way up to the upper Hudson Valley. So, a pretty large area of slight risk. We talked about this last night that it was likely that SPC was going to do something here, and the marginal risk pushing up to the Canadian border, covering also Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Another area of slight risk emerges in north central and northeast Texas, northernmost Louisiana, into Arkansas, and southeast Oklahoma. So, got a couple of busy days here with respect to severe weather, and also big rains for the middle Mississippi and Ohio Valley.
Oh,
Uh,
look at that.
yeah, so over the next 7 days, because this takes us through next Friday. So this is going to include a weather system that for late next week, which if we play our cards right, comes in faster, goes out faster, but we'll see for the Memorial Day holiday weekend. But that's a 4 to 5 inch area of rain, and even some 5 to 7 inch areas being indicated around St. Louis, for example. And I'm sure we're going to see some adjustments to this. We also have 2 to 3 inch rainfalls for West Virginia into southwest Pennsylvania. That's good news for West Virginia because that's one of the few remaining areas in the east that's under a drought situation. And most of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states looking at 3/4 of an inch to an inch of liquid. And the bulk of that is going to come probably late next week. But some of that's going to come late tomorrow and again on Saturday. So uh, it's not quite back end loaded. So here's our European tonight, and you see the arm of thunderstorms moving eastward. So there's like a front that's going to move east and kind of weaken, but there'll be enough there tomorrow, and with some daytime heating tomorrow, we should see temperatures make a run for 80 in many places, I think, and that could set off some thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. And then Saturday, as a secondary front arrives, probably during the morning hours, and that could set off some showers and thunderstorms. So I think that's what SPC is looking at here. But if everything moves along, most of it should be gone by early to mid afternoon, and then weather conditions should hopefully improve. Now, the problem for Sunday is that you got this low in the Gulf of Maine and the upper trough that goes with it. So there's probably Sunday, Joe, looks like a breezy day with gusty northwest winds, self-destruct sunshine, and maybe a couple of scattered showers, or maybe even a low-top thunderstorm.
Would not doubt it. Would not doubt it at all. That's what happens when you have a cool or chilly pool of unstable air. And again, it's more like a situation you'd see in March or April as opposed to May. But in any case, be aware or be advised of that for Sunday. Although the real fireworks may come either tomorrow and Saturday. Although this will not be, when you think about severe weather, you think about it in terms of late afternoon and evening, like diurnal convection. But as you pointed out, Joe, for example, on Saturday, the main area of precipitation, the main area of showers, may be moving through late morning or midday, early afternoon. And by later in the day on Saturday, we may very well be pretty well out of it. So it'll be an interesting couple of days coming up, watching the potential for convective activity. Incidentally, on the chat board, this was a while ago. Harold Olson was asked a question about most consecutive days where temperatures hit or exceeded 90 at Central Park or in New York City. And the chairman came up with the correct answer, 12. However, I did dig a little bit deeper. And Harold Olson, if you're interested, that 12-day stretch of 90 plus degree weather at Central Park was August 24th through September 4th, 1953. A lot of people don't talk about this too much, but the mid 1950s were hot. We had a stretch of very hot weather during the mid 50s, and also we had a lot of activity in terms of hurricanes that affected portions of the mid Atlantic and Northeast in the mid 1950s. even more so, more activity in the 50s with tropical systems than what we've seen in recent years here. And in terms of heat, well, again, I mean, it was a very hot decade, the 1950s. Um, I think also, Joe, there were a couple of episodes of I Love Lucy where they were talking about how hot it was during the summertime. I think that there was um, one particular line I think Lucy was delivering to Ethel: "Have a nice, hot, sticky
Huts.
summer."
Yes, I remember that. Just a second. I want to. There you go. Take my new phone is charging. It's so exciting. I backed up the European just to show for areas in Missouri and Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, and Illinois. The Europeans picking up. This is tomorrow, late afternoon and evening. That storms fire up in Missouri and then move eastward fairly quickly. And actually, the model holds those thunderstorms together rather strongly through the overnight period, getting almost to me before they finally weaken as we approach daybreak, and then they, reform for the east. Uh, they move through Ohio and West Virginia, and then they kind of die off a little bit around sunrise, and then start to fire up again as that weather front pushes on through. Now, for later next week, I'm just going to switch to the upper air for a moment just to show you what's happening. And you see the deep upper low on Sunday in upstate New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire. So Tom Contino was asking about low top thunderstorms. So what happens is, when you get summertime thunderstorms and you see where the tops of these thunderstorms are, they can go to 45, 50,000. Sometimes they can even go higher than that. But in a situation like this where you have a cold upper low, you wind up getting uh, thunderstorms where the tops only go up to maybe 20 or 25,000 feet, and maybe even less than that. So we just kind of refer to those as low top thunderstorms. They're caused. You see them a lot in the spring, and sometimes you see them in the mid to late fall when you have a very cold anomalous feature in the atmosphere like this one is. In the springtime, especially where things are warming up, um, every day you're getting, the normals go up every couple of days. So you have good daytime heating, but you have a very cold pool of air aloft, and the resulting instability causes thunderstorms to develop, but the tops just don't go up as high as they do for the ones in the summer. Now you see there's a deep trough that comes into the west, an upper low dropping down from Alaska into Washington State on Sunday, and then that upper low uh, dives down into the central Rockies and plains and reforms in Nebraska. And because we're kind of in a blocky pattern, that upper low, instead of lifting up northeastward like the one is doing tonight, it gets shoved underneath uh, what's going on in eastern Canada. There's another upper low that's forming in southeastern Canada, so that energy has to get forced to the south, and you see it there. There's a cutoff in northern Kentucky, and then that eventually resolves itself in the east with a cutoff low in Pennsylvania that winds up going up on this run. It's in upstate New York and New England. Some of the runs yesterday had it further south, but it's not far up in upstate New York and New England. And you can see there's a deep trough in the east right through the entire Memorial Day holiday weekend. So when we look at what the model is doing on the surface, it's got a vigorous low that it forms in the Rockies. Got all this precip in the Northwest and in the Rockies, and then a low forms in Colorado. You see it there, moves it to Kansas. It's a 94 low, and then it sort of rotates and spins around and reforms in Missouri on Tuesday. Wednesday, the low is in right at the triple point of Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana, and just north of Louisville, and rain on our doorstep by late Wednesday, and it takes the low and reforms it off the New Jersey coast. Actually, has a pretty tight gradient. So we've gone from this being a Friday, Saturday into Sunday event to one that's more like a late Wednesday, Thursday into Friday event. Now, if that's the case, we could see some improving weather conditions over the Memorial Day holiday weekend. Although, if the upper trough is going to linger in New England, that probably poses an issue with regards to instability clouds and maybe some scattered showers on Saturday and also for Sunday, scattered around with the temperatures cooler than normal, and they're still around even on Monday. So it's not going to be a picture perfect weekend, and it's not going to be a swim at the beach type of weekend either. So there you go.
Well,
Um,
the folks over at Climate Prediction Center are saying, Joe, that they still think that as far as precipitation is concerned, they're still earmarking the 23rd, which is a week from Friday, the 23rd through the 25th of May. That would encompass two-thirds of the upcoming holiday weekend, not this weekend, but the following weekend, in terms of a slight risk for heavy precipitation, which includes our area, but also a slight risk, and during that same time frame, for high winds. So they're thinking possibly gusty winds and also some potential for some bursts of heavy precip encompassing a portion of the holiday weekend. But again, that's still more than a week away. A lot can happen. And who knows, in the next few days, maybe the threat will diminish as we get closer
right.
to that event. So we'll see.
Well, the GFS, just for laughs, I said, let me bring up the GFS. And the GFS is actually further south and deeper, and it's faster. So it's got rain coming in as early as Tuesday night, and it has a low off the New Jersey coast Wednesday afternoon with a very tight gradient. I mean, if this is right, you're looking at temperatures probably in the upper 40s and low 50s. And also, it's much faster. And the other funny thing about the model is it's got snow in northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine come Thursday morning. It's got areas of blue up there. 986 low in the Gulf of Maine. You couldn't get a 986 low anywhere near the Gulf of Maine last winter, but you're getting it now. And then it's got some kind of front that comes through on Sunday, the 25th. So I mean, the models seem to both have some kind of nor'easter type storm for later next week. The GFS is really rushing it in. The European is slower, but the models are faster than what they were a couple of days ago, where they were sort of looking at the weekend rather than uh, mid to late week. So yeah, we're still a week away. So I think when we come back on Sunday, we'll have a pretty good fix on where this is going to go. Can you share? Oh, you got the 6 to 10 day. Okay, go ahead.
That's the six. This is the 6 to 10 day outlook, and I would like to point out to all of you, one, two, three, four, five. So this is indicating, or at least the CPC is indicating, for the 21st through the 25th of May. That runs all the way to the 25th is the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. They have a 70 to 80% probability of below normal temperatures, which encompasses Long Island, New York City, northern Jersey, northeastern Pennsylvania, much of eastern and central New York State, and a good part of southern and central New England. Below normal temperatures. And if you're wondering about precipitation, well, take a look at this. Above normal is the suggestion, 40 to 50% at least, again, for New York, Long Island, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. So they are implying, Joe, from this long range outlook, that at least a part of the upcoming Memorial Day weekend is going to be a bit on the wet side and certainly a bit on the chilly side. Let us hope that that is not the case, but that may very well be the story for the unofficial start of the summer season, even though it's not officially summer just yet.
Well, it's a little late, but not better late than never. Welcome to everybody on the chat board tonight, and those of you who are lurking in the background on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. We're happy to have you here. So make sure you subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. We're here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35. So after tonight, we will not be back until Sunday. Uh, but I'll be posting stuff, and Joe will be posting his stuff too on the various platforms that we work on with the latest weather information over our 2 days without a show. If you like the show, hit the like button. It's not too late. And you have Briller Jeopardy tonight, correct?
Yes, I do. Or as Mr. O'Toole used to say on Treasure Hunt, yes, I do. I will look at that and bring it up for you in just a matter of moments. Let's see what we can get here. And I think we are on the same topic as recent nights. Thunderstorm days in the following cities from June through August. So, June, July, and August, the number of thunderstorm days. And we will start with a place that you and I are well acquainted with, Joe, Central Park.
Well, all the other cities around were with had 12, so I'll just say 12.
Where's that bell? There you go. You got it, Joe. Right on the nose. I don't even think they had a chance. Harold Olson at 20 and Vincent Croce 15. Mike Waterhouse Bonsai at 13. Chuck Cardillo 13. Oh, well. Vincent Croce says, come on, give us a chance. How about a place that you once resided in for a few years, Joe? New Orleans.
Mm. They had a lot. You had a lot. You had almost one every day. Um, so I'll say, well, Jacksonville had yesterday had 41. I'll say 44.
Well, I would agree with you that they seem to have one every day, and I would have suggested that you might want to go a little higher than Jacksonville. Believe it or not, it's lower than that.
It's lower than that, yeah. Maggie P says 38. Vincent Croce says 35.
Well,
Rich
Vincent Croce is very, very close. In
Rich
fact,
Rothmansky said 33. Scalera Frank 37.
well, somewhere between Croce and Frank.
And Earthshield 34. Mike
Oh, I see
Waterhouse
latex streams. You've got it with 30, and Tyler Fenga too with 36, and
36.
William Huber with 36, and Chuck Cardillo with 36. It's a 36.
I guess I'll say 36 now too.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. How about the Steel City, Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh. Hmm. I'll say 15.
A little bit low, Joe.
A little low. Uh, Carol DeCaris is 38. She may still be in New Orleans.
Oh,
Ty-
that's way, way up.
Tyler,
Way too.
Tyler Fenga says Pittsburgh 17.
Vincent
Rothmansky.
Croce, Vincent Croce and Maggie P are right there in Snake Country with 18.
Well, Rich
And Norm
Rothmansky
Roberts gets it. Norm Roberts with 19.
and Rich Rothmansky had 19 too.
Yeah, there you go, guys. There's your bell. How about the next one is Richmond, Virginia?
I'll say 24.
A tad too high.
A smidge. Ever so slightly. Rich Rothmansky has 21. Tyler Fenga 22. Vincent Croce 22. Mike M 23.
Rothmansky and Chuck Cardillo and Frank R., all of you with 21. That's it. You hit it. 21. And here's the last one, Joe. And this is for all of you friends out there who enjoy the middle part of the nation, St. Louis. I've been to St. Louis a few times. It's a nice city.
All right, what was the one we just did? What was your name again?
Richmond was 21.
21. St. Louis. Well, Tyler Fengus is 24 and Carol DeCaris is 25. So I'll say 25.
A little bit on the high side.
Okay. Chuck Cardillo's got 21.
That's ever so slightly on the low side.
And Tyler Fienga and Croce and Scalera all at 22.
And that is it. Double deuce.
22.
2022. And that is it. We don't have a bonus tonight.
All right. Any plans for the weekend?
No, not really. I was figuring that I was going to wait to see when I could do my lawn, but believe it or not, the new lawn tractor arrived this afternoon. The sun was out for several hours, and although parts of my lawn are still too wet to do, or too wet for the tractor to go over, I'd say I got about 80% done. So I'm fairly happy because that means that's 80% that I don't have to worry about doing over the weekend.
Nice. I have I'm about halfway done with my landscaping. So the hardest, I don't know, I don't have a lot of additional planting to do, but I still have a lot of mulch to move around. So that's going to really be my aim. And tomorrow's poker night, so playing poker. And that's really about it. I got nothing else planned. So, which is there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's just good to do nothing on the weekend. I know, Miss Blue Ocean. I hear you when you say uh, you're never done with landscaping, and you never really are. But I just want my I want my house to look nice, and I do enjoy um, planting and growing things and that sort. Keeps you. It's one of those things that you do where your mind is totally unoccupied. All you're doing is thinking about the plant. So whatever negative things are going on in your life, they disappear while you're working in the yard, and that is that's a good thing. All right, I think we could say good night. Hope everybody has a nice weekend, and we'll see you Sunday night at 7:35 p.m.
Well, you all have a good weekend too, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Bye bye.